Today's Thursday gathering is focused on MedTech innovation. This session is meant to replicate what would happen in our physical space. So what you see is what you get. This is how I am in person or virtually. And our team truly loves interacting with people. We love business, we love entrepreneurship, and we love innovation. So we welcome you to activate the chat publicly, or if you see someone you know, private chat them, or someone you want to know. Feel free to share your LinkedIn profiles, your emails, anything you want to share. We have a very robust chat going along with our programming. I see our partners, Rebecca and Colleen from CIC Providence. We are housed, this beautiful building CIC runs, and we are a member of CIC. We were born originally out of CIC in Cambridge. So we work very closely with CIC and love to share what's new at CIC, ladies.
We've got some exciting community goings on for, both Valentine's Day and Black History Month. So just doing some various things to kind of engage our community in that regard. Yeah, I know that we have some local snacks going around later today to all of our clients in the space, from coming straight from Hope in Maine. And so, yeah, and we have also got, what else were you going to mention, Rebecca?
Yeah, sorry for not delivering a well choreographed back and forth here, Colleen. We were chatting previously about what we wanted to share, and I think as we increasingly recognize the need for our clients and our community to project their work into our global network, we spent a lot of time yesterday thinking about our podcast studio, which has grown to now be what we're defining as a creators studio. It's ideally situated for not just audio recordings, but also video recordings. And I hope Noreen doesn't mind my saying hello, because she is one of our strongest proponents. And we were just swapping messages moments ago, but we are trying to figure out ways that we can add a depth of programming and expertise to the content creation dimension of what we do to support the message and the platform for our client communities. Thanks, Colleen.
Awesome. I'll be back in the space tomorrow. I'm up in our district hall space at least 2 days a week. So we welcome all of you. If you need a space to work, we run our free public lounge. We can schedule a tour of CIC if you're interested in that. And we have our private meeting rooms and event space. So please stop in. We are very excited about this new year, right, Colleen and Rebecca? I mean, the energy feels different. And Brian, I know you're in the space too. And it just, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I think that it's going to happen sooner than I projected. The activation of our beautiful city, and just keeping innovation going and coming back in person. Our building is super safe. CIC runs, top notch. I always say our building is the cleanest building in the state, when probably the safest building in the state. And CIC Health is utilizing the first floor of District Hall. So if you need testing, that's available too. Because this is Black History Month, we've invited some of our friends. This is also MedTech Innovation Today. We run thematic Venture Cafe Thursday programming in Providence every week. It's based on a theme. And because MedTech Life Sciences is our most robust sector of our economy in Rhode Island, we focus on MedTech or life sciences at least once a month. Other topics like offshore wind, we might focus on at least once a quarter, but MedTech and life sciences is very important in our community in Rhode Island. So we have a lot of exciting programming, and right at the end of this half-hour session, Amy will talk about what's to come. I had mentioned that we do our MedTech Forum, which is super exciting, super interesting, and I highly recommend. That's going to be from 12 to 1 in partnership with NEMIC and Zymetica. But because it is Black History Month, we also invite every week we invite community partners to share, whether you're sharing in the Slack or sharing, if I call you out and have you share. But we invited Kristen Adamo, who's the director of Go Providence and the Providence Warwick Visitors Bureau. She's going to talk about this really exciting opportunity for you to learn more about our Black history. They have a Black History walk they created in conjunction with the Center for Reconciliation and Stages of Freedom. And we invited Kristen on to talk a little bit about that. So I know we only have a half an hour, and what we do, for those of you who are new to this session, usually call our community partners out just to share, for like Rebecca and Colleen just did, for 2 or 3 minutes. So can you tell us more about that? I love that.
Sure. So what we do at Go Providence is we're responsible for bringing in meetings, conventions, and sporting events, as well as leisure travel. So it's actually great to be here because, as you can imagine, that part of my job is a little bit grim right now. But the opportunity to share with you our Black History Walking Tour is a good one. This is a project we started about 2 years ago, and it launched about a year ago. And it is in partnership with the Center for Reconciliation, which if you haven't seen their work, check it out. A lot of it is about acknowledging the role that slavery played in the building of our city and our state. And it's important work. And the tour itself was written by Alon Cook Lee, who at the time was their executive director, and a Black woman and scholar in this. And she really inspired me for this tour, because when I met her, part of my job is to know history. Well, I didn't know a lot. So she really told me some stories that were a whole new way of looking at the founding of really Providence. So we had a walking tour series, and we do, and they're done by neighborhood. If you want to see them, they're at goprovidence.com. So we've done, the immigrant experience on the west side. We've done the east side. We've done industrialization through downtown. But we felt like this was something very special that we needed to do. So we worked with them, and also with Ray Rickman and the Center for Reconciliation. And you can find all of the material online. I believe it's right on our homepage right now at Go Providence.
Evelyn just shared it in the chat too. So
excellent.
Awesome.
So it tells, what I like about it is it doesn't just give you facts, and it does. I mean, it tells a lot about the history, but what I really like about it is it tells you about some of the personalities who really helped to shape the city. And I also am proud that it does take an unflinching look at at slavery and other abuses that our Black community has had to suffer. So it covers the time between the founding of Providence to about the Civil War. There's obviously many more stories to tell. So it is our hope post-pandemic to do another one and finish telling that story up until the present. And then also, we really were so pleased at the reception of this kind of switch to more telling the stories of different segments of our community, that we also want to do one for our Hispanic population and the contributions that they've made. And I think we'll continue on in that vein. I think one of the things we tell, we host journalists all the time, and one of the things we tell them is the strength of our city is there is no one majority. We are truly a mix, and it's great to be a mix, but it's also great to highlight the individual contributions of different people in different cultures. And that's what this series does. And, you want to get out of the house, and kids' school vacations are happening and coming up. And I think this is a great way in the pandemic to be able to get out and really teach, teach people about it. And I'm glad that you, I see in the chat, thank you, Evelyn. I'm glad that you're interested, and you can do it on your own. Normally we have printed pieces at our visitor center as well. I will say this tour, we knew it was doing well. We've had to do the fastest turnaround for a second print run that we've ever had to do in our series. So
you can drop some off at District Hall, and we're happy to share this in person.
Oh, that's great. I will.
Awesome.
So that's a little bit about the tour. I'm happy to take any questions or any of that kind of stuff.
So we only have 15 minutes left, and I still have a few of our community members I want to call out, but thank you for being here and sharing. And I recommend anyone who has questions for Kristen, she's here, so drop them in the chat, and I know she'll be paying attention. So thank you for coming on, as always. You're an awesome community member. There's something really important that we're trying to gather information on, and we've invited our friend Melissa Simon, who is the Director of Business Development at Brown Technology Innovations at Brown University. Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about our need for wet lab space in the state, and let people know about the survey that we have circulating? Are you here? I thought I saw you somewhere. There you are.
I am here. Yes. Thank you. So yes, as Tuni mentioned, now working with Brown, but a month ago was working with Rhode Island Commerce. And so a lot of this is stemming out of my work that I was doing with commerce, since apparently can't leave commerce, switch jobs. But as many of you probably know, if you're involved in the life sciences medtech space, there is zero wet lab space available in the state. And so when I was working at Commerce and trying to help support growth of life sciences here and recruit companies to come relocate, expand here, there's really no lab space for anyone to use. And in Boston and Cambridge, particularly in today's world where no one's really running out to build giant offices, labs have been going up on every corner in Cambridge, and we're trying to capitalize on that and bring that here and try to get some of that innovative biotech activity happening here. So there is a survey that's currently fielding. I saw it's in the chat right now, where we're just trying to collect general information about demand. A lot of the questions are geared towards companies, either existing companies or companies that may be forming in the next 24 months or so, about specific number of benches and what size space you would want. Even if you're not at that point, or that's not really your direction, but you know someone who may be interested, or you can comment in general about some of the needs that you've seen, any information would really be helpful at this point. There's a lot of activity, things are happening very fast, and we'd love to get feedback from the community. So
awesome. Yes, Evelyn dropped it in there, and throughout today's programming, because of this audience and because the nature of our programming, people pop in and out, we'll continue to share that survey throughout. And would love to hear from any of you how you found out about this, if this is your first time. I know Richard O'Brien let us know that he is here because he heard about it on our Venture Cafe Cambridge email. So I see Yulia and Shaheen are both here from Venture Cafe Cambridge. That kicks off at 1:30. Strongly recommend you pop over there after ours wraps up. And Yulia, you want to talk to us a little bit about what you have going on in Cambridge today?
Yay, hi Tuni, thank you so much. Yes, we're actually starting a little bit later today. So between our programming, if you choose to join, you'll have a couple of hours to do some other work. So we are going to start at 3:30 today, and we're going to have another networking session, actually inspired by Tuni's Economic Gardener informal conversations. So hop in, we'll have people from the Japanese embassy there talking about biotech and life sciences. That will be followed by a panel discussion. And we'll have Melissa, who's just shared the survey she's collecting as moderator. So you already know Melissa. And we'll have a Shark Tank kind of event. We'll have Japanese pitches and some of the local investor judges judging. So definitely join us. We're going to run a little bit later today until 7 p.m. So if you have some time, join us. I will post the link to the agenda in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me if there's any information you need at the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yulia. Evelyn is in charge of dropping links today, and she's doing a very good job. So she just dropped the information. If any of you are interested, and strongly recommend, if you're not on the Venture Cafe Cambridge email list, to hop over to our website over there and sign up. We do share though. So if you're on our email list, we always share what's going on in Cambridge on our email as well. Awesome, thank you. And we are working on a pretty cool initiative in partnership with Rhode Island Bio. So we invited Jay Round to explain a little bit more about this. We're working to create a Rhode Island Clinician Entrepreneur Network. And we have an event on Thursday, March 11th at 6 p.m. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Jay? I thought I saw you in here too somewhere.
Yes, I'm in here. Video's on. Nice to see everybody. Yes, as you described it, it's a, we try to be very blunt with the name. We're trying to connect clinicians with some of the entrepreneurs in the life science industry in Rhode Island, kind of a challenge that we regularly face with new companies that come to either RI Bio or to Slater Technology Fund, or even to the angel investors, is that while they have technical expertise or perhaps business expertise, they don't have a lot of clinical expertise, which is where all drugs eventually, if everything goes well, end up in the hospital. So as we try to identify clinicians that are entrepreneurial minded and can serve as either advisors or just as brief consultants, or even get more involved and become chief medical officers or equity holders in the company. We just regularly scramble to find oncologists or rheumatologists or infectious disease experts that can kind of lend their support and their patient-facing skills to the startup. And we established this network with support from the EDA grant that the Venture Cafe is in on us with that we got from the federal government a little earlier, about 6 months ago. And we're hoping to just have a live roster where we identify clinicians that do want to not so much volunteer, but just get involved with these companies on a a matching basis. Some physicians are appropriate for some technologies more so than others, and we would provide that matching so that we can get a little bit more of an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, this is something that served Mass General and BMC quite well up in Cambridge, and we want to get Rhode Island Hospital and the Lifespan Network involved as well, so that everybody can have kind of that clinical expertise that's necessary to get to the next level of financing. So we've got a little more, pretty much explaining what I just explained on the website at RI Bio, and I can share that. And we're asking.
Just shared the link to the event too, Jay.
Yes, the event. That's right. That's March 11th at 6 p.m. I think it's taken shape. We're going to be doing it similar to this scenario. We're going to get a lot of docs that maybe are getting sick of patients, getting sick of the same routine of saving lives, et cetera, and instead want to get involved in the business end. So obviously everybody is invited, but and it's not just doctors, nurses, NPs, physician assistants, all of them are actually very applicable as well. So that's why it's the clinician network and not the doctor network.
Awesome.
And I can share that once I dig it out.
And then can you also share your very important email, because not everyone knows, but I know there are some budding entrepreneurs and founders here. Jay Round is the entrepreneur in residence for Rhode Island Bio. And he often is seen in the halls of District Hall in CIC Providence having meetings with entrepreneurs in this space. He's great, he gives great advice. He's got a lot of experience in this space. So I strongly recommend you reach out to Carol and Jay from Rhode Island Bio, or Danielle and Aiden from NEMIC, both awesome organizations that are continuing to build the most robust sector of our economy here in Rhode Island. So without further ado, this is, we love partnering with Zymedica and NEMIC. NEMIC is New England Medical Innovation Center. Aiden is co-founder of both Zymedica and NEMIC, and brought this program, this MedTech forum that Zymedica has been doing internally since 2014, to my attention it feels like over a year ago, Aiden, and we went back and forth talking, and we beta tested sharing it to a larger audience, the public, last year, and it went so well that we have now incorporated it into our second Tuesday Venture Cafe Thursday gathering every month. So we hope you can all stay. There'll be a lot of Zymedicans joining us lately, because since 2014, this is their favorite lunch break of the month. Jessica Peach, one of the principal researchers at Zymedica, does a fantastic job. You were spot on when you first explained it to me, Aiden. She's fantastic and smart and fun, and she scours the globe along with help from other Zymedicans, and finds the newest, coolest, latest, greatest technologies that she shares for 1 hour. And it's very engaging and fun. So I recommend you go get your lunch and just enjoy that show. But Amy, do you want to talk about all of our programming today?
I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. So as Tuni said, we have the MedTech Innovation Forum. And then for our last half an hour from 1 to 1:30, Danielle from NEMIC has been so gracious as to organize a really nice information session on the new Magpie X accelerator. And so we'll be hearing all about that today. Really looking forward to that program so that we can learn more about the opportunities that are emerging here in Rhode Island.